Yo, we're back in After Effects, and in today's video I'll be showing you how to create this crazy 3D title card, and it will be start to finish. So I'll be showing you every step of creating a really instant title card for your music video. So sit down, grab some popcorns, and let's just get into this. So in my timeline you can see I already made an example. As you can see, this looks so cool, the Go Again title from Yeet music video. So let's just go into my tutorial comp, which is this, and I'll be showing you how to create it on this first comp right here. So firstly, to start off, what we're gonna do is create like a normal text layer. So select your clip and right click on a blank space, go over to new and create a text, and in here you can write like your title, whatever the title is. Let's just go with Go Again, and the font I'm using is Jump Pins. This is one of the font used on my 3D title card preset, so it's really dope. But anyways, we also gonna write our artist name in here, Yeet. Let's just write bennett as well, like that. Then you can just go to here and lower down the text size, and you can just play with the distance as well, like that. And you can even like change around the font for like the artist name, so you can go through and look for a good font. I think let's just leave it on the default, which is Jump Pins personal use, so something like that. Then you can just scale it up to your liking. The important thing is hit Ctrl Alt Home on your keyboard to bring your anchor point onto the center if it's not already, and then hit Ctrl Home to bring it on center. So as you can see, our text is on the middle. That's exactly what we want. You can even trim it till your clip size. Now you can see our simple text is done and ready to go, but now we're gonna turn it into 3D. So to do that, we'll be actually using Element 3D. If you don't already know, Element 3D is a plugin which allows you to add those crazy 3D stuff into your music video and any type of video you are working on. So we'll be using that. So to apply Element 3D, select your text and right click on a blank space, go over to new and just create a new solid right here. Color doesn't matter, so it could be black, and hit OK and create your solid like this. You can even trim it to your size, so something like there. Then add like an element, or if you don't have FX console, you can just search it up on effects and preset element. But real quick, let's just remove element for now, and I really want to showcase you my 3D text and preset pack real quick. It will be really quick, but it is totally insane. So if I just go over to my animation preset, go over to user preset and 3D title preset, SD1, and use any of these presets right here. The one that I like and that I'm recreating is Rockstar made, so I'm just gonna add it onto our element layer like that. So now after you apply it, just go over to custom layer, custom text and marks, and set it as your text layer. And right after, if I hide my text layer and play it through, you can see this crazy text right here ready to go. You can always like change around the colors and the vibe in the scene setup, but as you can see that easily we have the text. And of course I'm going to show you how to make this, so don't worry about it. I'm just showcasing my pack a little bit. If I go into my reference comp, you can see it's like the same type of stuff we are making, and that's right there. Your title is ready, you can go with it. So if you want to download this pack and my OG 3D title card pack, I'll link it in the description. They are both insane, to be honest. I'm not even like being too promotional, but it would really help you, I'll guarantee. You can even use the code masterclass to get 10% off your purchase. But anyways, now let's just remove it because we're making it from scratch. So let's just add element back in here. And now to turn your normal text into the 3D text, all you gotta do is go into custom layers, go into custom text and marks, and go over to path 1, go over to path 1 and just select your text layer, which is Go Again and bennett. And instantly you won't see anything because it is not like a preset. We gotta customize it and make our own animations and stuff. And that's what I love about presets and stuff, is all the animation, all the things are done for you and you can just drag and drop. But anyways, let's just go over to scene setup on the effects control. You can see scene setup, just click that. Then it will bring you in this new window right here, which is pretty easy to use. So I'm gonna show you how to create your text in it. So firstly, to get to extrusion, just go over to extrude and just hit that. that, and instantly your text will appear on the 3D scene. And another thing I forgot to mention is to orbit around, all you gotta do is hold your left mouse click and it should like orbit around. And if you wanna change the position of the camera, you can like hold your scroll wheel and drag around like this. That's a little tip to save you time. But now let's just go into our scene. Go over to extrusion model and bevel. And in bevel, in extrusion, I like to set the amount to like 5.8 or something like that. So 5.8. As you can see, that looks really cool right there. Then you can select your extrusion model again, not your bevel, and go over to extrusion now and go over to bevel copies, and here set it to 2 or as many number as you want, but we're gonna go with 2 for now. Maybe we're gonna set it to 3. Yeah, 3 would work for me. And now select your bevel 2, go over to extrusion edges, and you will see expand edges below your extrude and just bring it up. So something like 0.50, 60 would work. Yeah, that looks pretty cool right there. As you can see, it's just like a copy of the bevel as it says. Now you can even bring up the extrusion if you like, something like that, and then go to Z offset and you can just offset your bevels so it's on the center right there. And now we can see our title has a bit of depth that we want. You can even lower down the extrusion more if you like, but I think that's really cool right there. Now we're gonna copy the expand edges value and go into bevel 3 and just paste it on the expand edge as well. And you can bring up the extrusion a little bit, don't do it too much, and you can just slide it in a bit so we have some depth going on in it. As well. So I think this bevels right here looks cool to me. So now we're gonna start like adding materials and stuff, so let's just get it. So to start off adding materials, just select your first bevel, which is bevel 1, and go over to materials. And if you new one element, you only see like physical, and in here you see like some basic materials that you can use if you're starting out. I would probably use like chrome on every single title or metal diffuse, but for now I like to use like pro shaders or elite shaders. If you don't know, these are different packs made by different peoples for element 3D, so it comes with a lot of like materials and stuff. So for now I'm gonna use the elite shaders, so let's just open up elite shaders. And for the first bevel we're gonna use aluminum from the elite shaders, and then you can just scroll down selecting a material, and in glossiness you can bring it up so it has a bit of glossiness in it, and you can play with all of these values in here. You can play with reflection and stuff as well. And right there I think that's a really good material right there. And now we're gonna add aluminum onto our bevel 2 as well, and in here you can choose your color theme that you are working with. For me, I'm working with like a green color theme, so I'm gonna go over to the basic settings on the edit, selecting your bevel 2 for sure, go over to diffuse color on it and just set it to whatever color you like. Let's just go with like something like a green, so a green like that. Then now let's just go over to reflectivity and set it to green as well, and you see the color changing right now like that. So something around green like this looks cool to me. And in reflection as well, set it to green. I think I'm gonna bring up the glossiness a little bit, so around like 88 or something like that. Then go over to your scene material and take the aluminum, the green aluminum, and just add it to the bevel 3. So as you can see, we have the green bands going on in it. I think the aluminum is kind of like too thick for me, so let's just lower down the extrusion of it and the G offset as well, and the same thing with another one. Now I think that looks pretty perfect right there. Now our material stuff is also done, so we'll add a dope environment in here to go with it. So for the environment, let's just go to preset again, and you'll see environment now defaultly, and in here you see like basic environment that you can use, so you can just go through and see what works the best. As you can see, gives different look, so you can go through all of these. This one is really cool, like matches my vibe, but I'm gonna use backlight environment. This is also another pack from Video Copilot, I guess, so we can use these. I'll use backlight 4K2. This goes hard with it, and if you don't have backlight and stuff, you can always use the default, or you can even set your footage layer as environment if you want. I showed it how to do it on my my last title video, so you can check it out. I'll link it on the iCard. But anyways, let's go over to environment now, the environment, and you can just play with like the contrast. So make it a little contrasty, the brightness a little bit more as well. And as you can see, that looks so cinematic now. So I think we are almost done with our scene setup, so let's just hit OK to go out. And now as you can see, our title has material and ready to go. So now we'll start all the animations and the render settings and stuff to really get it to the next level. For the animation, we firstly gonna add a camera. So right click on the blank space, selecting a solid, right click on a blank space, new, and then a simple camera right here. And the main thing to keep in note while making the camera is make sure in the preset you will have it like 15mm. 15mm works the best and gives the most depth to your 3D title. So we're gonna hit OK now, and instantly after adding the camera you can see the difference. So as you can see, it looks a lot alive. It gives our title the life that we want. So as you can see, it looks so crazy after just adding like the camera. And you can even use these tools, so like shift 3, and you can just zoom it in if you like, so something like that. And now in here we'll start animating our title. So let's just open up group 1. So firstly we're gonna make a Y rotation. So let's just go over to particle replicator and go over to rotation and hit the stopwatch on Y rotations and hit Q on your timeline to bring up the keyframe. Put the keyframe towards the middle or around the end, I guess. And now we can bring up the Y rotation to 1 on the cycle, so it like cycles 1 time like that. Then you can select those keyframes, ease those, go into graph and make sure you're in value graph actually, not in space graph, and make a graph like this. So a simple graph like this should work on it. Maybe you can even make it a little tighter, so something like that. And if you want, you can even play with like these so it goes out, so we have a bit like bounciness to the text, so it goes into like minus as well. But that's your choice. We're gonna just set it at the normal, so let's just bring it up like this, so it's a normal graph like this. So now after the graph you can see it looks so smooth, the rotation. Now we're gonna open up particle look and hit the stopwatch on particle size and put the first keyframe around the middle and just make the value to 0 at the start. Then you can just ease those keyframes, go into graph and make a same graph in here. So a graph like this would work on it, I guess. So something like this on the graph would work on it. It would look really smooth. And now to add a bit like twist and bending on our title, we're gonna use deform. So go to particle look again and you will see a section called deform. Just open up that, just go to twist in it and just enable it and hit the stopwatch on Y twist. First keyframe around the middle and you can just make the twist first value to like something like 53 and ease those keyframes actually. Ease, head over to graph and make a graph like this. So as you can see, that little thing right there adds a bit of twist and like something to it that looks so cool. I think I'm just too zoomed into our scene, so let's just do something like this. Then now we're gonna start adding some extra stuff in it, something like a grenade that I showed you. So to add it, just go to like scene setup again, and to add like any 3D models you would probably need to use sites like Sketchfab. In my browser, if I open up like Sketchfab, you would find a lot of free 3D models in here. So you can search up in here, like you can search up like something like gun if you want. If you want to add some gun, you can see a lot of these are free, so you can just download directly. Make sure they are obj.obj and use those. But for now, let's just go to After Effects and I'm going to use projectile and weapons from Video Copilot again. It's also a pack inside of Element 3D, so I'm going to use this. If you have, you can just scroll down and find this flash grenade right here, and then however you import your model, if it's through like Sketchfab, you gotta go to import and import it. But if you're using something like projectile weapons, it will straightly open it up. In my last title video, I also showed you how to import 3D models that are not OBJ and how to texture them as well, so I'll link it in the iCard. But now let's just select our flash and just drag it out until you see this red. What that means is we are putting it out of the group folder, and now now in the scene you can just change it to 2. So where it says 1, just set it to 2, so it's on our second group. Then in here you can play around with the materials of the grenade, so you can open up these and like play around with those however you like. Also, one thing you can do is go over to your extrusion model, which is your text, and scroll down on your first level, which is aluminum, not the green one, and just go to something like ammunition, and you can just bring up the ammunition, and you can just adjust like the fresnel. I don't even know how to say it, but you can just play with it and it will give it like this light, and you can just set it to green, so we'll get like this green light on it, which looks so cool. That's a little tip if you want to use. But anyways, let's just go into our flash again, and you can do the same thing in here if you like. As you can see, same thing in here, so something like this, and set it to green. That right there looks cool to me, so let's just exit out of here by hitting OK, and now you'll see your grenade in here. Now we're gonna close our group 1 and then go to group 2 and go to particle replicator, and now in here we're gonna make one grenade into 2, so it's on both of the side and looks cool. So firstly, in particle replicator you can set the particle count to 2 and set the replicator shape to sphere, and you will instantly get 2 of those. And now you can just play with the shape scale, so it's on the side like that. You can even play with the rotation if you like. You can even like make it like rotate, but I guess we're gonna leave it like this for now. You can even head over to particle look and lower down the size a little bit, and you can even play with the rotation however you like. Now to animate it as well, we're gonna go over to shape scale and hit the stopwatch in there. Put the first keyframe around the middle and go over to the start and set it to 0, and you can just set it to 0, so it like comes in like that. So now you can do the same thing with scale as well. So particle look, scale, hit the stopwatch in it, put the first keyframe around the middle, lower down the field value to 0. Then you can easily use both of those keyframes, go into graph individually and make a similar graph like this. So something like this on the graph, so it's a bit tight as well. Then now select the keyframe of the size, go into graph and make a same graph in here. Now we also gonna animate the rotation, so go over to the particle look, go to the particle rotation, and you can hit the stopwatch on X rotation, bring it up in the first frame, easy use those keyframes as well, go into graph and make a similar graph in it. Maybe the value on minus would be really cool, so minus 90 on the rotation, and just adjust the graph a little bit again. Yeah, that looks really cool right there. You can even hit the stopwatch on the Y rotation and make it a 1 cycle as well, and easy is those keyframe, go into graph and make a same graph in here. You can even play with the keyframe durations and stuff and get it to your liking, so something like this looks cool to me. Then now to finish off our animation, we're gonna select our camera layer, the camera, and you're gonna open up the camera option, go to transform and hit the stopwatch in point of interest and the position around the middle, actually, so around here, and go over to the last frame, and you can just take your like shift 3 to take your like zoom tool, which is this, as you can see, and just zoom it in, so it like zooms in, and so something like this. So it like zooms in until it goes out of frame. Then you can easily use these keyframes, go into graph of both of these, make sure you're in speed graph this time, and make a tight graph like this in it, so something like this. And now another extra thing you can do is you can select your orientation and clicking alt in the keyboard, hit the stopwatch in it, and it will bring up your expression. And in here you can add like a wiggle expression of wiggle 2 brackets and the frequency of 1 and the value of 2, so it has a bit of wiggle going on. Let's see how it looks. I think that's too much right there, so let's just set it to something like 1, to be honest, on the value as well. So now that little weird keyframe right there, I think that gives a lot of depth, adds a bit of movement to it as well. But now we are also done with our animation, so now let's just start messing around with some render settings to get some shadows and stuff, which would look really cool. So firstly in here we're gonna close our group and go out to render settings and go to lighting firstly, and in add lighting set it as cinema. I guess this looks, as you can see, this looks really cool, gives it that cool cool lighting that we want, and some shades as well in it. And then we're gonna also go to physical environment, go to rotate environment, and you can rotate like an environment in here. So if you don't like an environment, you can just rotate around and see what works the best. So around -19 on the Y and 12 on this, like the X one. It really like depends on the title. Don't like copy my values, of course. And we're gonna bring up the Z around like 90 and stuff. So now I think that looks pretty cool right there. Now to add those shadows and give it that realism, we're gonna go to ambient occlusion and just enable it, enable AO, and you can just bring up the intensity. You can bring it up how much you like, so something right there. You can even like play with the distribution and stuff and gamma and stuff in here. So now that right there, you can see it adds a lot of depth and the shadows looks absolutely beautiful. You can even bring up some gamma and stuff on like the environment if you like, and I think I'm gonna rotate the environment a little bit more. I feel like this right here looks cool to me. So now we're gonna add the glow. For that, I like to use the optic glow. If you don't know, this is a plugin, so you have to have VFX3 to use this, but if you don't, you can use like the normal glow. But let's just bring up the highlights only for now, and just bring up the radius as well, and just lower down the amount, so it's a little subtle. And we also gonna go to outer tint and make it something like green, so it's a bit like greenish. Make the amount to 5, bring it up more if you like, so around size 200, and you can go to alpha channel and set it to extended on more. And that right there looks so cool. As you can see, glow turned off, glow turned in. I think I'm gonna rotate the environment a little bit more, so it's not like that shiny glow on some areas. So something like that looks cool to me, I guess. After the rotations, you can always like rotate more and get it to your liking, like what works the best for you. And you can even play with the tint on the physical environment to get it to your liking, so something like a green color on the tint. Also add like a curves and make a S curve and bring up the highlights of it, or something like this looks cool to me. And now we're pretty much done, but we're gonna add some finishing touches. Firstly, I like to turn on the motion blur, so go to motion blur on the render settings and turn it on, and then close the element, close this, and we're gonna add RSMB to smooth out the motion blur. Then you can just put the RSMB before your optical glow. And another little thing I like to do is add like a fast blur blur onto a background, and whenever my title comes in, bring up like the blur amount a little bit. You can even lower down the opacity a little bit as well. And lastly, in here we just gonna add a heat wave. Set the heat intensity to 20 and the blur amount to 6, and you can even put it before your curves. And I guess now we are done. So after all, my final result looks something like this. This looks so cool, and if you want to automate this process and get more title, you can always check out a pack. I'll link it in the description again. I'm telling you, it's totally crazy. So yeah, that's it for today's video, guys. If you like this video, please consider hitting the like button, and you can also subscribe to my channel for more videos like this, because I try to put in a lot of effort in every single video of mine, and I would really appreciate if you just hit the subscribe button. It would mean the world to me. You can also follow me on Instagram, join my Discord server. So yeah, see you in the next video. Peace.